Hey, how's it going? It's June 28th, 2022. This is your Daily Sweet Talk. Remember a few years ago when Donald Trump was president, um, and he tweeted out the word, it wasn't actually just the word, he tweeted out, I don't remember what it was, something, 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 and then it ended with COVFEFE, which people, for some reason people pronounced the V silently, so it was like COVFEFE or whatever. And what a riot that was! Oh man, remember that when he accidentally hit enter too soon on a tweet? That's got to be one of the top 10 presidential blunders of all time, let alone Trump blunders. Hitting enter too soon on a tweet. I never understood. I never understood why that was such a big thing. I get. Well, no, I know why. It's because and it's because people at the time, and if he was still as relevant, they still would be probably, but at the time people loved to take everything he did and turn it into a joke and make fun of it because he was so susceptible to that. He was such a joke in himself. And I think that tweet, the COVFEFE thing, that was kind of the epitome of people just reaching for things to make fun of him for. And I never and this was what's so confusing about it, because you don't need to. He is probably the most easily, like, one of the biggest clowns there is, but people would just reach for these things to make fun of him for, and it's like, you don't need to. Like, he's literally handing you things to make fun of, and and yet you're reaching for these breadcrumbs. That was what was confusing to me about it. Not, I won't even say confusing, because at the same time as um even though he was giving so much to make fun of, um the late night shows and everything, all these, there were all these people who would just, this was their whole thing, was just making fun of Trump and the Trump presidency, which was funny at first. I don't want to criticize him too much and make it seem like I think it's bad to make fun of Trump because it's not. But it was just, it got really tiring, and that was kind of the epitome of that. Um, why is it this? Why was it still in my mind? This is, I had written down on the topics list because it just occurred to me one day. I was like, what was up with that? Like, really? He hit enter too soon on a tweet. Um, and another thing about it is, people would find these things to, not to get political. I don't care. Um, People would try to find these things to, or not find it. People would just make fun of him for these, for him being just stupid all the time, because he was, and it was funny some of the time. Um, there were, I'm not gonna name other things, but there were other things that I feel like people were just kind of reaching and overreacting for, like how how absurd he was, because there were there were moments that were so absurd, and then people would act like as baffled at that when he would do something like less absurd, and I'm like, what? Okay, well, that's not as weird as the other thing he was doing. um and you know it's, there's also the fact that, like, he was doing, like, actually horrible, like, he would do this ridiculous, like, clown behavior, and people would use that to be like, look, he's like so unfit to be president because he's such a clown, which is true. It's just true. But you don't even need to, like, go there. You don't even need to go there to do that, because he's just said the most awful thing, like, the Access Hollywood thing, when he said he would just go into the he could just go into the street and shoot people. Like, you don't even need to go to the place where you're just making fun of him for stupid things like that.